Welcome along, fellow time travelers. In this episode of the Music History Cafe, I am joined once again by Jennifer. You know her best as Redhead Ranting, and we're going to talk about some of those legendary dark pop classics that Gen X grew up listening to. The kind that sort of helped shape their personalities, you know, giving them the tough exterior and the reflective interior. You're going to recognize a lot of them. They hit the charts with catchy melodies, but they were packed with stories of tragedy and mystery, loss, and some hard-won wisdom. These aren't your sunny beach anthems. They're the songs that make you pause and wonder and maybe feel a little chill down your spine. We're going to talk about songs like Bobby Gentry's haunting Ode to Billy Joe. Vicki Lawrence, she had that Southern Gothic, The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. And Terry Jack's tearjerker, Seasons in the Sun. You had Bo Donaldson and the Haywoods. They had this anti-war plea, Billy, Don't Be a Hero. You got Kenny Rogers with the Coward of the County, and the list is endless. We're actually going to go over them in about a minute. So sit back and pour yourself any beverage of your choice and join Jennifer and I in the Music History Cafe. Hey, did you know I'm the author of a lot of books, including ones about the homes of the Beatles? Kindly check out the links below to learn how to buy them. I've written about the Dakota, home of John Lennon, Friar Park, home of George Harrison, and Tittenhurst Park, home of John Lennon and then Ringo Starr. And I've written some other books too. You could also make a donation to support my research and productions. You could also join me on other platforms for exclusive content. Hey, Jennifer, how's it going?
It's going well, Scott. How are you?
Everything is cool. This is going to be an interesting series. I think it was your idea, wasn't it?
Sure. I'll take credit.
There are so many great songs to discuss. I mean, check out some of these titles. They're going to bring back lots of memories of listening to the radio, maybe in your car, maybe at home. Seasons in the Sun, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, The Night Chicago Died, The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. Do you remember that song, Alone Again, Naturally?
Yes.
That was sad. One Tin Soldier. Did you ever see the movie Billy Jack? Do you remember that?
I did. Yes.
Wow. So One Tin Soldier was a big hit. You also had Space Oddity by David Bowie. That was creepy, about an astronaut sort of floating around in space, getting ready to die. Ode to the County, Kenny Rogers. The Bee Gees had a whole bunch of really depressing kind of story songs. They had New York Mining Disaster. Styx, you could even throw Styx in there with Renegade, which is creepy, talking about a man getting hanged. So what I want to ask you is, what in the world was going on in the 60s and the 70s that had all these great singer-songwriters? Because that's who it was. You know, these days you have 10 guys writing a pop song, but back then you'd have one guy, maybe two or three, you know, if they're brothers or in a band, writing songs. I mean, I've Got to Get a Message to You by the Bee Gees, American Pie, Cats in the Cradle. I mean, this list is pretty endless. These were not pop songs. What in the world was going on, and what did it do to Gen X while they were growing up?
We didn't have the internet, that's why. So we spent a lot of time in our room or alone thinking about the person we loved or the person we wanted to break up with or the person who just died. And we were poets and we wrote about stuff. Remember that? We just used to think more. We could do alone time better.
Yeah. There was something amazing about these types of songs. Many of them were very depressing, but I think it's because a lot of times that's what inspires writers. Most people aren't singing about happiness. You'll have some happy songs, but for the most part, a lot of songs about loss and tragedy, missing somebody, that sort of thing. And that could even be the majority of the songs in a lot of ways you could think, but there was something going on in the 70s, where these songs were getting written and recorded, and radios were actually playing them.
Don't you think that they elicit an emotion, right? So it's kind of like engagement farming today, where or rage baiting, because it elicits an emotion. People listen to it, and with radio, they go out and buy it because they want to hear it again and again and again, or it made you feel something. And, you know, obviously on the internet, rage is everywhere, but with music, it was about letting your softer side show and being vulnerable. And I think music was a great way to do that. But we also had fun songs too.
Yeah, without a doubt. But when you listen to a song like The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and we'll talk about that another time. You listen to it, and there really was no reason to do anything else except close your eyes and listen to the story being told, and you can imagine it, and it was sad, and it really, I think, had an impact on the way Gen X grew up in the United States. Like I said earlier, this tough exterior, but this reflective interior.
Yes, I do think it really did shape us in many ways. And I think imagining, especially the record of the Edmund Fitzgerald is a good one. But so is American Pie, right? Because they paint a picture and you can just literally lie there. And I used to do this all the time and just imagine, and this is before videos, we would kind of make up our own little video in our heads.
Yeah.
Of whatever they were singing about. And the more descriptive the song was, the better you could do that with.
Exactly. Do you hear songs like this on the radio anymore?
I don't, but I listen to the 70s station.
Yeah. But is there anybody today that even has the emotional depth anymore? And I mean by the writers or the singers that could even pull off something like this. And even if they did, is there even an audience anymore that's going to listen to a 5 or 6 or 7 minute song the way that Gen X did growing up?
No, they don't have the patience now. I've seen some of those AI generated songs. A lot of them are country and they tell a story. They're not bad, but I think you have to go through some real pain to write these kinds of songs.
Definitely. Well, what's interesting about this, and the last time we spoke in the Music History Cafe, we were talking about Hot Child in the City, right? Mm-hmm. As if it was an autobiographical song, which of course it wasn't. In the same way that people are upset about songs being written that have a child in it because they think that it's somehow promoting something, nobody thinks that Gordon Lightfoot was on the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Oh, there's somebody who does.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, he's the only one who got off.
Yeah, but David Bowie wasn't an astronaut floating around in space. Kenny Rogers was not the coward of the county. Styx was not, none of those guys were getting up, getting ready to be hanged, things like that. Songwriters used to be,
yeah,
and it just seems to be a lost craft.
Well, I think, all these things turn up again. I wouldn't say we're never going to get them back, because I do think that people are getting a little tired of this auto-tune, vapid music that has been out there for the last at least 10 years, maybe even more.
Yeah. A lot of the enjoyment of some of these songs is learning the stories behind them. We're trying to figure out what they're about. The song, The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia, that was by Vicki Lawrence.
That dark song.
I know. And Vicki Lawrence's Carol Burnett's show.
Yep, she's the little sister type.
Yeah. And
happy-go-lucky.
Yeah. And then she was in Mama's Family. So she had her own show, but that was in 1973. And what's interesting is the song was written by her husband, a gentleman named Bobby Russell, who supposedly was most people don't know who songwriters are.
Right.
But he had some success, but they call it a twisty Southern Gothic tale of wrongful execution, sibling revenge, and a cover-up. Now, when I was a kid and I first started listening to this song, I thought that it was about lynching a black guy. Because, you listen to it, it's like, unless you know the lyrics, you don't know what it's about. Everybody hears the part where, the judge is this way and the jury is that way and they're hanging an innocent man. So I thought it was about that. But the more I looked into it, wow, it's a crazy story.
It is a crazy story.
Yeah. I was looking it up, trying to figure it out myself because, even if you know the lyrics, it's still like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And what's fascinating about it is it's written from the perspective of the murderer.
Yep.
And you don't know that.
Not until the end.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, you do know it's his sister, right?
Yeah.
In the beginning. So she's telling the story of how her brother got out of prison. And was it prison that he was in, or was he?
Candletop. Is that a prison?
I don't know.
Okay, let me find out. Let's ask our trusty friend Grok. Hopefully he won't lie to us. Was top a prison? I was wondering what that was myself, but that would be interesting. And that would make sense. So he was gone. And the sister, okay, here we go. Candletop was not a real prison. It's a fictional place invented by songwriter Bobby Russell.
Okay.
For the lyrics. Okay, so fans have long debated what Candletop actually is. Many listeners interpret it as prison or jail. The brother had been locked up for 2 weeks and is heading home. But it could have been a town. It could have been a farm. It could have been a relative's place or some business trip. But I kind of like the idea of it being a correctional facility.
Yeah, I guess I just assumed it was. He was gone either way. And while he was gone, his wife cheated on him
Yeah.
with apparently quite a few guys. Or that was not the first time.
No, it usually isn't.
No, it isn't.
Yeah. I mean, the lyrics, here's the first verse. He was on his way home from camp, been 2 weeks gone, and he'd thought he'd stop at Webb's. Okay, so 2 weeks wouldn't be a prison. If anything, it would be jail. He could have been held in a jail for a couple of weeks, but certainly not a prison. And have him a drink before he went home to her Andy Wolo. That was a friend, said, hello, hi, what's doing? Sit down. I got some bad news. It's going to hurt. He said, I'm your best friend, and you know that's right. But your young bride ain't home tonight. Since you've been gone, she's been seeing that Amos boy, Seth. Well, he got mad and he saw red, and Andy said, boy, don't you lose your head. So he's telling his friend what's going on, but he doesn't want his friend to be upset about it.
Yeah, but then don't we find out that the friend also had a little fun with her?
Yeah. So you've got that, which is dramatic. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to
There is an awful lot going on.
Because nobody seems innocent about it. I mean, there's this twist. I mean, the narrator is the man's little sister. That's pretty cool, honestly, from a storytelling perspective. And she committed both murders. So she killed Andy and her brother's unfaithful wife.
Well,
to tell you the truth, I don't know what kind of friend this is. I've been with her myself.
Yeah.
Not anything that anybody wants to hear, right?
No.
Yeah. And then she starts getting into don't trust your soul to no backwoods Southern lawyer, because the judge in the town's got bloodstains on his hands. Think about the visual imagery here. What a great song. Let me divert for a second to say something about one-hit wonders. And I know this guy had other successful songs, but this was his biggie, right? And for Vicki Lawrence, who I don't think ever intended on having a career as a singer, right? I don't think that was her thing. But in a way, you could call her a one-hit wonder. And I don't even see anything wrong with that. I mean, if you could have one big hit later, what's wrong with that? That's pretty cool.
I think everybody would like that.
If you were an architect and you designed a beautiful building, but only one beautiful building in your life, and people were talking about it decades later, wouldn't you be happy? Yeah. And so it's the same thing with songs. I mean, this is really interesting stuff here, where you think about the judge in the town, because you could picture them. They don't even have to describe them.
Yeah, in my head, I see Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Was he a judge or no? He was the sheriff. That's who I see in my head.
Yeah. So Andy got scared and left the bar, walking on home because he didn't live far. See, Andy didn't have many friends, and he just lost him one. Brother thought his wife must have left town, so he went home and finally found the only thing Papa had left him, and that was a gun. Then he went off to Andy's house, slipping through the backwoods, quiet as a mouse. Came upon some tracks too small for Andy to make. He looked through the screen at the back porch door. See how the songwriter is bringing us along on his journey?
Yeah.
And then he saw Andy lying on the floor in a puddle of blood, and he started to shake. Well, the Georgia Patrol was making their rounds, so he fired a shot just to flag them down. Now, I'm not exactly sure if that was the smartest thing any man has ever done. If you come across a house, Jennifer, and you're carrying a gun, and you see somebody who you're mad at has already been shot, maybe don't fire a gun in the air. Hi, hope you're enjoying the show so far. Hey, look, are you having trouble falling asleep or relaxing? I bet you do. Are you looking for all-natural supplements to help manage your blood pressure, glucose, or cholesterol? And are you dealing with prostate or other issues? Well, if so, then kindly check out the all-natural supplements at campfireshop.com. They are formulated from ancient remedies. They also have handcrafted soy candles and premium teas. Ordering via the link below helps support my research and productions. Alrighty, now let's return to our story. What was the brother's name? Do we ever find out? Let's find out here. No, the brother is unnamed. The friend is Andy. He was on his way home from Candletop. That's the brother. Been 2 weeks gone, and he thought he'd stop at Webb's. That's probably the local bar, right? And have him a drink before he went home to her. Andy Wolo said hello. So Andy is his friend.
So he's in the bar.
Yeah. And he said, hi, what's doing, Wo? Because his friend's name is Wolo. So that's the brother. And Andy, sit down. I got some bad news. It's gonna hurt. Andy said, I'm your best friend, and you know that's right. But your young bride ain't home tonight. Since you've been gone, she's been seeing that Amos boy, Seth. Oh, I see what's going on here. Hold on a second. Okay. Well, he got mad and he saw red. This is the brother. So the brother got mad and he saw red. And Andy said, boy, don't you lose your head. Because to tell you the truth, I've been with her myself. Why the hell would he tell his friend that?
Okay. Well, Andy got scared of what? Of him?
Well, he saw that the brother was furious. I mean, look, he just told his friend, your wife's been getting banged by some other guys.
So he the bar and walking home because he didn't live far.
Yeah. Andy got up and left. He says, oh, get me the hell out of here.
He didn't have friends, not the other guy. And you wonder why Andy doesn't have friends if he's sleeping with their wives.
Yeah, exactly.
Brother thought his wife must have left town.
So he went home and he finally found the only thing Pop had left him, and that was a gun. So he went to Andy's house, his friend's house.
Okay.
So now here's what's interesting. It sounds to me like Andy was trying to set up Seth to get killed. Because he said, your wife isn't home, she's with Seth. But meanwhile, he was trying to distract. I don't know why the hell he said, I'm banging your wife. He should have just left it at Seth, and that's that. So Andy's no genius.
No, he's not.
Right. So he went off to Andy's house, slipped into the backwoods, quiet as a mouse, came upon some tracks too small for Andy to make. He looked through the screen at the back porch door. Now, what's interesting about the tracks is this is the narrator telling this story, right? So we don't know if the brother actually saw those tracks. This is the narrator telling this. Now, in a film, this is planting a seed, saying something now that's going to be important later, right? It's a little piece of evidence for you to keep in mind. Like, what does that mean? Why would you tell us that? What in the world? Came upon some tracks too small for Andy to make. So already they're putting the story in your head that something is afoul here. Something different's going on. And so the brother, instead of saying he, I'm just going to say the brother. And the brother saw Andy lying on the floor in a puddle of blood, and he started to shake. Well, the Georgia patrol was making their rounds. So he fired a shot just to flag them down. Yeah, not a good thing to do. Should have just left. And then you got the big-bellied sheriff grabbed his gun and said, why'd you do it? Well, the judge said guilty in a make-believe trial, slapped the sheriff on the back with a smile. That line alone makes you not want to go to a small town in the South.
You've seen My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah, every movie that's made about the South, unfortunately. You got the good old boys. Not necessarily true, but, you know, Hollywood seems to have fun with that. Said, supper's waiting at home, and I got to get to it. That's the night the lights went out in Georgia. That's the night that they hung an innocent man. See, I don't want to be a jerk about this, Jennifer, but honestly, that's bad grammar because it should have been hanged an innocent man.
Yeah, I guess, you know, I know it says it in there, but when they said that's the night the lights went out in Georgia, I assumed he got the electric chair.
Oh, really? Is that what you think it means?
No, I don't, because clearly he got hung. But maybe what they mean, maybe that's metaphorical hung, right? But I just assumed that was that draw on power is why the lights went out.
If you were a songwriter, are you a songwriter, Jennifer?
No.
Okay. So there's something called syllables. You know, you try to have things match up. And probably that's the night that they electrocuted an innocent man. Probably wouldn't work.
No.
No.
And I get it. Sometimes you just got to fit the thought in. So, but
yeah,
that was always my thought was that he was electrocuted.
Exactly. But that is good grammar.
That was still that we were talking about that back then. The electric chair, that was a big thing on the playground.
Yeah, that's true. So just to make my English teachers happy, because I did pay attention, even if they didn't think I didn't, an innocent man could have been hung, but to kill him, an innocent man needs to be hanged. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so anyway, it's a bit
that
too late.
Doesn't really fit either, right?
That an innocent man was hanged?
No, I mean lyrically.
No,
it wouldn't fit. Yeah.
No. But hung works. We'll go along with it. Okay, so the judge in the town's got blood stains on his hands. Well, they hung my brother before I could say the tracks he saw while on his way to Annie's house and back that night were mine. there's the reveal. So the narrator was the sister.
Yep.
And the
So she killed the wife and hid the body, but then she obviously killed Andy too.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she says,
but Seth got away with it.
With banging the wife?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good observation. Didn't think about that. How come he didn't get investigated?
Well, now because the brother's in jail, or no, the brother's dead too. See, that was the thing that always bothered me, is that they killed her brother and then she went on to write a song about it.
Yeah, well, maybe. So let's see. Here's what she has to say. And his cheating wife had never left town, and that's one body that'll never be found. Ooh, that's cold. That's a cold line, right?
Yeah.
So she wanted, I don't know, did she want her brother set up?
That's the question, right? Because
yeah, so let's see what the rest of this is. See, little sister don't miss when she aims her gun, right? So let's see what we got here. I was looking into, all right, so here's what I read. She didn't deliberately set her brother up, at least not according to the most common and straightforward interpretation of the lyrics. I don't know about that. I don't know. It's kind of up in the air.
It was certainly poor judgment, right?
She didn't have time to hide Andy's, but why didn't she wait around? If she figured maybe her brother would show up, well, she didn't know. But otherwise, she could have said, hey, don't worry about it, bro. I took care of it. Help me hide the body.
Yeah, why didn't she get Seth? That's what I want to know.
Maybe she did. Maybe that was the sequel.
Is there one?
I don't know. She left footprints. So why would she do that if she went to the trouble of hiding the body of the wife, but she didn't cover her footprints, which could have led to her, right? But maybe she was planning to leave town. We don't know what happened to her. She could have done that in hopes that if they investigated it, there's no way they'd say, well, the brother did it because look, we have other footprints. It's just that they never looked into it at all.
Right, because they're, a dirty sheriff and dirty judge.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they just wanted to get the brother no matter what, right?
Yeah. Do you think her goal was revenge? She doesn't get into that, but that's going through a lot of trouble to kill a couple of people. Why not just tell your brother, hey, you need to dump her. She's cheating on you. And then everybody.
That's what we would do today. But back in the 70s, if you wronged somebody, you had to do the thing. And you had to, had to stand up for them. And
yeah. And so, yeah.
An honor killing, right? Or maybe it's not an honor killing, but.
Well, coward of the, yeah. Yeah, because coward of the county was the same thing. Just, what's that?
I don't think she was setting him up. I think she was truly trying to.
Oh, guess what? I bet you she was away disposing of the wife's body when everything went down, so she couldn't get there in time. Wow. And also, is she a reliable narrator? Maybe she could have spoken up, but she chose not to. She could have gone in.
Could have said something before.
His wife is getting banged by a bunch of guys, at least two, right? And as if that doesn't suck enough, now you need to be arrested for something you didn't do, and you got to die.
Yeah, and she just sat there. Now I'm imagining her like Mama, the Carol Burnett show. This was the precursor to Mama, because she's kind of salty.
She created this perfect storm that got her brother hanged.
Yeah.
And she could have stopped it at one point. I mean, a trial is a trial, right? There was plenty of time, especially way back then when this would have taken place, which would have been the 60s or 70s. She could have written a letter to the judge or to the lawyer and said, I did it. Try to find me. She could have disappeared. She could have skedaddled from Georgia. They never would have found her. And they probably would not.
Well, here it says here, well, they hung my brother before I could say the tracks he saw while on the way to Andy's house and back that night were mine. Almost as if she had more time.
I'm not believing her.
No?
No. Well, look, there was a trial.
I know.
I mean, where in the world was she hanging? Let's just say she took the wife, threw her in the back of her truck, went driving like the Dukes of Hazzard far away. She would have gotten back in time for the trial at some point.
You'd think so, right? Because he had time to get a lawyer. They had time for the court case.
You have to, even if the judge is a lunatic, you still have a jury, right? Is there any mention here of the jury, or is just the judge?
No, they don't say anything about jury.
Okay, so you have a judge, you have a jury. At the very least, she could have told her lawyer, wait a minute, what are these little footprints there? Somebody else was there that night. That's reasonable doubt.
Yeah, but it was what was it?
It's a cool song. It's fun.
Well, you don't trust your soul to no backwoods Southern lawyer. That's why.
Oh yeah. No, listen, that is the one takeaway, isn't it?
There's a lot of takeaways here, but it would be number one by far.
Yeah. You listen to a song like that and you say to yourself, no, I'm going to get a lawyer come and get, I want my cousin Vinny.
Yep. Maybe inspiration from my.
I need Vinny to come down from Brooklyn. It's the only one I trust. So these are the types of songs that Gen X listened to in the 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's unpredictable. It's not the sort of thing that you expect to hear. And with all the great songs that you could listen to on the radio, you really could have, out of the blue, this song would be played on mainstream radio, and everybody of a certain age heard this song a million times.
And then you'd talk about it with your friends. You do what we just did, trying to figure it out. What's going on here?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's a lot of fun. The 70s had so many cool songs like this. We wish that more would exist like this because they'd probably do well, especially with all of the things that can be done today to produce videos. Every once in a while, like the Kinks, just about 2 or 3 days ago, they took one of their old songs, Sunny Afternoon, and turned it into an animated film. Once upon a time, it cost a lot of money to produce some kind of promotional film. The Beatles did it, some others did it, especially during MTV. But nowadays, you really could take any of these songs and produce some pretty cool videos, especially when you have the visuals that you have in a lot of these songs. It would probably be a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I bet it would be. I wonder, you probably could have Grok do it to this song. I don't know what kind of copyright issues would be had, but it'd probably be a lot of fun.
Yeah. The fact of the matter is, as long as you don't upload it to YouTube, you're not going to have all of these problems because you could upload it to X and say, hey, check out this cool song that I made, because it's kind of a parody. It sort of fits in there.
I would almost say it's fan fiction, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. It's the sort of thing that really should be encouraged, to be honest with you, because as the years go by, less and less people are going to know about these songs.
Right.
And so if you can repackage something with a video, then you have a whole new generation of people that are going to listen to songs like this and have these stories in their minds, which I think is pretty cool. Well, Jennifer, that was a lot of fun talking about this song, but there are so many others we want to talk about, but we want to talk about that on the Redhead Ranting podcast. So at this time, I'm going to welcome everybody to join us over there. Where is the best place to find the Redhead Ranting podcast?
You can find it on my blog, or you can go to rss.com/podcast/Redhead Ranting, or on X or any of the other platforms. I am on all the other platforms. So best place to find any of the links would be .com.
Very cool. All right, everybody. So what did you think of the night the lights went out in Georgia? Do you think that the sister was telling the truth? Do you think she was away hiding the body? Do you think she set up her brother? Do you think her brother should have gotten a better lawyer to get out of this mess? What do you think the song is really about? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to head on over to Jennifer's podcast. We're going to talk about some more songs over there. Before we do that, I would like to ask you to kindly check out the links below to learn about my books, my podcasts, social media links, and more. Please check out my sponsor, campfireshop.com, for all natural supplements, soy candles, awesome teas, and more. You can also go on Amazon and buy any of my books. Until next time, which will be in about a minute when you head over to Redhead Ranting, I wish you safe travels on all your journeys. Are you having trouble falling asleep or relaxing? Are you looking for all natural supplements to help manage your blood pressure, glucose, or cholesterol? Are you dealing with prostate and other issues? If so, then kindly check out the all-natural supplements at campfireshop.com. They are formulated from ancient remedies. They also have handcrafted soy candles and premium teas. Ordering via the link below helps support my research and productions.